If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you running a business is tough. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down anymore. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you the visibility and control over your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Join the over 21,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/C-suite. netsuite.com/C-suite.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Superhero Homies podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I'm here with the homie Kevin.
Heyo, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah.
I hope everyone's doing good. Hope everyone's had a good day or midday whenever time you're listening to this.
Amen.
And I also hope you guys are ready for story time.
Yeah.
Story time.
Hopefully you're not driving in case story time, you equate it with like a bedtime story. Because no, don't fall asleep while driving. Yeah.
Well, no, I
just imagined the worst thing. That's why I laughed. Yeah.
I equate this with like an audiobook, except better because it's us doing it.
And you get to listen to our sexy voices.
Yeah.
How do you purr? I guess you could just do the R rolling and just go arr, arr. Oh shit, I can't do it tonight. My tongue's on vacation.
Anyways, guys,
Stop me before this gets weirder.
I'm trying to. We're talking about Under the Red Hood tonight, the classic Batman story written by Judd Winnick, and this is a really good and really classic story. Even though the story itself, I think, is only maybe 14 years old or so, but even though it hasn't been around for that long, in comparison to stories from 30 years ago, is classic in the sense of the story that it tells and how they weave together so intricately all the threads and plots that are in it, and also how they take things from previous stories and kind of also solidify it here in this story as well. So for those of you who have read Under the Red Hood or who have seen the great animated movie that came out some time ago, then you already know that this is an amazing story, and I really can't wait to get into this one to talk about some of those finer details that are in the story and really what makes this thing such a great read.
Agreed. Yeah. I'm actually bringing the book back because in my research, I've been borrowing it over the past week in order to kind of read it, dig more into it, learn it for myself, because I'm sure, like many of you, more of my experience has more recently been from the actual movie, the animation, which again is amazing. But Q informed me that it is a good bit different than the actual story from the graphic novel, and I was very anxious. So of course I had to dig into this bad boy, and there is a lot more meat in this. So trust me, if you think you know the story, there's more.
Yeah. Were you able to finish it?
There's more. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I got to ask you that.
I'm a fast reader.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of really cool things here in Under the Red Hood that really help it stand out in comparison to a lot of Batman stories. What I really like about this story, and also about God Loves, Man Kills, that's the X-Men story that we covered a little over a week ago. The thing I really like about stories like that is the fact that these stories, they are in a continuity, but they're also really self-contained as well, meaning that you really don't have to have a lot of prior knowledge or information to pick up these books and read and enjoy them. For those of you who maybe are looking to get into starting to read comics, but you don't know where to start, I understand it's a very daunting task because there's a lot out there, and it can be very intimidating to know where to start.
Yeah. And plus, just to solidify the problem and make it more difficult, I mean, which origin story do you pick to read first, Because sometimes you got the original origin, and then you got, the remade origin, and then you got, a whole really cool spin-off origin, which isn't really the origin, but it's like a cool take. So there's just too many options, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. But Under the Red Hood is one of those stories where even if you're not that familiar with a lot of other classic Batman mythos, you can still pick up this trade paperback and not only enjoy but also understand it and understand what it's talking about. Like there's even like a little character bio sheet that's in the graphic novel, just in case you may not be familiar with some of the characters in it.
Yeah. The writing and the illustrations in the entirety from cover to cover really help to depict really and understand the characters more so. So it's not like you need to go read that first to get the story. Like my man Q was saying, they do such a great job of self-containing, of showing a real individuality for each character, just like they do in many graphic novels, definitely. This one tallies up.
But it does.
Indeed.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this one, guys. Under the Red Hood. Yeah. So this graphic novel, or this trade paperback, I should say, it starts off with a bang. Batman and the Red Hood are fighting on the rooftop.
Hitting the ground running.
That's right. Screw the whole building up mystery scheme. No, we're going straight for the punches here. Straight for the melee. And so Batman and Red Hood, they're fighting on a rooftop, and eventually they're fighting, and it's a really good fight. Batman is really impressed by what the hell this guy can do.
Yeah.
They tumble off the rooftop. Batman has Batman branded shoes.
He does. It's great.
It is.
Yeah.
They tumble off the rooftop, and as they land on the alley beneath them, Batman loses his cowl, and then Red Hood makes a snarky remark, and then he goes, well, it's only fair that I remove mine as well. And he removes his Red Hood, revealing himself to be none other than Jason Todd. So that was that's if this was a TV show, this would be the cold open. This would be like that little snippet that we see before the credits start rolling and the intro kicks in.
Yep.
That's exactly what this would be here.
But the cool thing is, the story itself, like in the panels, don't even show you that. Like it shows the taking off of the Red Hood and then the dropping of it, and it never really shows you who it is. Though at this point we all know, so many years later, who the Red Hood is. So reading the story at this point is more like getting the actual what happened. But it's just awesome how they build up the mystery. And like you said, it's that cold cut intro, like, oh, piss. We gotta go back and see how we got here.
Yep. And we immediately rewind 5 weeks prior to the events on the rooftop. And essentially we get Lucius that's been trying to get a hold of Bruce for some time now. And Bruce can't put it off anymore. Lucius is at the front door. And Lucius informs Bruce that the R&D department, the research and development department, has essentially been bought out by a German tech holding company. So essentially, there was some company that was so good and so stealthy that they were able to sneakily buy out all the majority stock in the R&D department for Wayne Enterprises and Cord Industries. And they were able to take that, and now they're the principal shareholders of it, meaning that Bruce Wayne no longer has the access that he does to that department. Of course, the reason why that's so important is, Bruce Wayne and Lucius here, they work hard to develop the technology, and Batman even goes on later to state, why this is kind of a big deal. Like he has some kind of neurotoxin that doesn't that temporarily paralyzes people, but it doesn't cause any permanent damage. There's something that gives the facade of death, but doesn't really kill. And like all of there's a lot of really cool tech that Bruce Wayne technically now has no real access to. And, essentially he tells Alfred, essentially what this means now is, worst case scenario is it goes into the wrong hands and that it can be used against us. Best case scenario is I don't get to use this ever again. And someone else does.
It went from trustworthy hands to what the hell are you going to do with my stuff hands?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about Under the Red Hood about this story is that they never really discuss as to what the hell happens here.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you about that because we never hear really about the company itself, this Germanic company. Although we do see the runoff effect of that, and that's been really influential for the story. But yeah, we don't know anything about the company, whether it's like, oh, well, it's been run by this villain, you know.
Yeah. That's not really a thing here. And now,
yeah, exactly. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, well, that's because, like, even though this is a trade paperback, this is within the realms of continuity, meaning that specific plot thread doesn't have to be resolved within the confines of Under the Red Hood.
Right.
Just like the first time we see Jason Todd alive again, it's not in Under the Red Hood.
Also true. That would be Hush. To answer my own trivia question. Yes.
That would be Hush.
I'm chalking it up as I got a trivia question right.
No, you can't.
First ever Wednesday one.
You can't ask a question and then question yourself as you answer it.
Hey, I'm one of the ones with the mic over here.
And also,
what?
The question was technically directed towards me, and I got it right, so that would mean a tally for me.
No, wait. I have one more rebuttal. It was kind of like more a Jeopardy sense where I answer with, you know, the question. Kind of like what is Hush? I'm fighting. I'm scratching over here.
Yep, you're trying to, but yep. But yeah, so, and that is one thing, like, I mean, I guess technically, because we will cover Hush eventually, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. That's probably a great story.
And, you know, just from a continuity standpoint, Hush does take place before the events of Under the Red Hood. Not to confuse anybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But no, just so moving on here. So Bruce Wayne is losing some of his tech here, but he still has a lot of cool gadgets and stuff that he already has, you know, locked away.
You know, Batman, king of contingency.
Oh yeah, and there's still like he's still a really brilliant man. That's what people forget sometimes. So he can still develop a lot of his own stuff. He and Alfred can. But let's see, where are we at now? So yeah, there's a group of gang members that meet up. And no one knows who called the meeting here. Like, they're all just like, okay, I thought that you called it. Oh, I thought that you called it. And then
it's kind of funny that these gang members are all trying to keep to an itinerary of sorts, a loose one, but an itinerary. Like, all right, so who saw to the calling of the meeting on this Thursday evening of March the 12th? Why are we all here? No, Bob, Crazy Bob. No, you know. Yeah.
Well, there's a guy named Chi-Chi, so I thought that was cool.
Chi-Chi?
Chi-Chi.
Chi-Chi.
Yeah, there's a guy in there named Chi-Chi. One of the mobsters. But no, anyway, so eventually they come to realize that none of them orchestrated this meeting. It was none other than the Red Hood. He is standing up on a ledge or up on like a scaffolding above them in the warehouse. And he's looking down at them, and he basically tells them, look, so here's what's going to happen here. I'm a pretty nice guy, so I'm going to let you guys continue your drug running business. No dealing to kids or schoolyards, and you're going to kick up 40% to me. So, I'm a pretty nice guy like that. And they're like, excuse you, we're going to do what? And, you know, they're like, who the hell does this guy think he is?
Right.
Well, he's the guy with a really damn powerful machine gun in his hand.
Exactly, yeah.
And then just to, you know, I guess add the exclamation point to his sentence, to his statement, he throws down a duffel bag onto the table that all the mobsters are sitting around, and as they open the bag, or the bag is already open actually,
right?
And they see that it's full of heads of some of their partners and or associates.
Yeah, that immediately just helped to kind of set the tone. Like, hey, so this is no joke. Boom. Oh, look, heads are rolling.
Yeah. Heads will literally roll if you guys don't do what I say.
Yep.
And then Jason, he mildly corrects himself. Basically goes, oh, and by the way, I wasn't asking. This is how it's going to be now.
Yeah. Proceeding to unload a clip into the table.
Right.
You know, just, damn, great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
How to negotiate. Force. Oh, okay.
Now, so right off the bat here, we get a really interesting glimpse as to what kind of person the Red Hood is. So we know that he's apparently cool with drug dealing and prostitution and I guess racketeering, but he's not cool with these things being done around kids.
Like there's a certain field of view that's okay for that stuff to happen with. Like, you can do that to the scumbag and let them kill themselves with drugs. But the minute I see you drive in front of a high school with a bag of it in your back seat, hell nah. I'm popping tires, I'm blowing up your car, and your family's gonna be dead type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really love the fact that they made him, this type of character, that he is a really, really wild vigilante. And the reason that he's honestly depicted as a villain is because his main underlying motive, as we're going to come to find out here soon, is really to teach Batman a lesson, to show Batman his way of thinking and why he feels that his way of thinking is superior, amongst other things as well. But I really like the whole mentality of Red Hood here. Because honestly, hell, I don't care. You can make prostitution a legal thing. You can make drugs legal. At the end of the day, none of that affects my life personally. And Red Hood, his whole mentality is kind of a similar thing. You just don't do that to children.
Right. It's an interesting field of thought, and one that I'm sure many of us as nerds who are familiar with the Red Hood, with others, who are similar in this mentality. Like the Punisher comes to mind, for instance. People who are like, oh, that's some bad shit, you shouldn't get away with that type thing, It's definitely an interesting school of thought.
Right.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, there was a Bat in the Sun fight that came out some years ago. It was Punisher versus Red Hood.
I was wondering if we were going to talk about that tonight. It was one of those things like, should I bring that up? It'd be fun to talk about, but it's not really pertaining to the story yet. But since we're bringing it up.
Yeah, just briefly, I just want to say to all the homies, particularly any of you homies that voted on that fight, that was complete and utter bullshit. There's no way that Frank Castle beats Red Hood. I said it. Moving on. Okay. That's right.
Well, maybe current Frank Castle, the one who became like the spirit of vengeance and the cosmic surfer all rolled into one character. That version could wipe out some shit.
It was not the Cosmic Ghost Rider. It was the Punisher versus Red Hood.
Okay.
And you guys can have all your hate seething towards me. I'm Q.
It's okay,
Send
buddy.
it towards Q. I don't give a damn. Red Hood wins every time.
It's cool. I'm holding him back, guys.
Oh, man. Let's see. So the next scene that we get here is Black Mask. And I'm going to go ahead and say this up front. I love Black Mask.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. So I don't want to interrupt, but real quick, if for some reason I lived in this fictional realm of Gotham and I was a minion type, a hoodlum who wanted to work for one of the big guys, I would go for Black Mask first. Like, I would want to be like, hey, can I work under you, please? Can I do some shit for you? Because he's great. I love his style, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so awesome in this story how he controls everything, or how he handles himself.
Yes.
Yeah. And the lack of control. It's hilarious and great.
It is. It's all really great. Black Mask is one of those villains where he is really intelligent, but he has such a temper. And his temper is one of his defining traits. That and just kind of the way that he handles bad situations.
Yep.
He either handles a bad situation in one of two ways. Either he loses his shit, or he handles it with a real dry sense of humor.
Right. A real unique charm.
It's either one of the two switches. There is never any in between.
Oh, man. That's great.
It is great. It's also important to note here that at this point, especially at the point of publication for the Red Hood arc, Black Mask was he had actually just recently killed Stephanie Brown. the former Batgirl / the former Robin as well. So she had been killed by Black Mask at this point, tortured to death, which is completely Black Mask MO.
Yeah.
And so Batman himself is still reeling from that. That caused him to distance himself from Barbara Gordon. He didn't want her involved anymore. And of course, not a day's really gone by that he hasn't thought about the death of Jason Todd either. Speaking of voting, voting for results,
right?
That's another one of those.
Yeah.
But no, anyways.
Funny how good stories are made.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, Black Mask is living it right now because correct me if I'm wrong, but he's currently the kingpin. He's the guy, like the top of the food chain right now, correct?
Yeah, basically,
Exactly. Yeah.
Black Mask is running. He's running shit now.
Yeah. And he's got a great assistant, and the written chemistry here is also very funny.
It is, yeah. Because his assistant is almost the opposite of him. Like, they're both very intelligent in their own ways.
But this guy is like exactly the antigen. He's the level-headed dude. He's the walking secretary type. Like, look, we need to do this and this. Okay, we'll table that discussion for later, but I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what was the wording of it? What are you, my crime-fighting mother?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's why Black Mask keeps him around.
Yeah.
It's got to be. But Black Mask, he meets up with Mr. Freeze and offers a business proposition to him. And Mr. Freeze, he's game. If the money's right and the body count is right, Mr. Freeze is down.
Yeah, go figure.
Oh, yeah. And this is really where, like, the first major difference comes in from the movie versus the story. Is
Right.
Mr. Freeze was not in the story.
There's in throughout the whole story tonight, as we dive deeper and deeper into it, there's going to be a lot more character appearance than there has been in the animation at all. Like, reading the story, I was quickly surprised. Like you said, Mr. Freeze was one of them. There'll be a few others we'll get into here briefly. And it was, just a very damn moment. Like, oh, damn, okay. They're in the story. How are they involved? Oh, they're involved too? Okay, it just escalates. It's good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Next up, Batman is scowling on the rooftop as he tends to do. And Nightwing jumps on the scene and joins them. And they have Judd Winnick, the writer of the story here. He has such a cool and unique grasp of the relationship of Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne. He really knows how these two click with one another.
Yeah.
And it becomes really apparent here in the couple chapters that these two are working together. And it's a really cool and unique chemistry. And it's always nice to see that chemistry play out here.
Yeah.
So basically Nightwing just meets up with Batman, just kind of seeing how Batman's doing. He's essentially checking up on Batman.
Yeah.
And, he's trying to make things a little bit more lighthearted and jovial. But of course, Batman's Batman. The two, they're going to kind of be on patrol here for a little bit together. And they go and they stop an arms deal. They don't know exactly what kind of arms are being dealt, but they do know that they need to stop whatever's going down. And of course, is at a dock. Nothing good ever happens at a dock or at a warehouse.
Yeah, no. If you ever hear someone say, "Hey, let's just let's just meet up at the dock," or if they ever use any language like the drop off, let's deal with it or get the package at. No, at that point you need new friends.
Right. But as far as like specific locations, docks and warehouses are never good. I mean, like you can even look at any of the Netflix Marvel TV shows.
Oh yeah, night or day, it doesn't make a difference. As long as it's a dock, you need to not ever go there.
Oh, well, let's see. They swiftly and easily take out the armed security for the arms deal.
Check.
And they approach the cargo, and it's a bunch of weird shit. It's like a bunch of unique memorabilia, weapons from criminals' past. It's like some of the Joker stuff, like some of
some of it looked like stuff from the old school Adam West Batman. It was fun to see, like the panel. It's all detailed. It's like a little Easter egg chart.
Yeah, and basically, they're not really sure what the purpose of it all is. Chances are that whoever the receiver of the package was probably going to sell or auction that stuff off to like people that have fancy taste and unique villain weaponry is what they're assuming. So, but anyways,
potential other psychopaths.
Yeah, they go to open up another crate and they realize, well, damn, there's a bomb in here, and they're almost taken out by the bomb, and of course the bomb is detonated by none other than the Red Hood. Yeah, and so this Red Hood character, he is definitely a step ahead of the game, already blowing shit up. Like he's so far ahead of everyone else here, and it's so cool how he has things mapped out because immediately Batman and Nightwing go on the chase for this guy. They go after Red Hood, and Red Hood he's quick. He tends to know what they're gonna do and how to counter everything that they're trying to catch him, and Batman is taking note of all of this. Like something's different about him.
Right.
He's not just skilled, but he knew what I was gonna do.
Yeah. And plus, he even knew the type of tools necessary to counteract my tools. Like
exactly.
You see a very characteristic Chris blade, which no criminal normally carries around a daggum blade that's purposely curved all up and down like that. Especially one capable of cutting that tactical rope. You know.
And they track Nightwing and Batman track Red Hood to a warehouse.
Another bad place to go.
Yep.
Red light.
And they encounter an older version of the Amazo android robot. And at this point it's really like, oh shit. Like if you're Batman and Nightwing, you're like, this day really just went from bad to worse to just ground up shit on a hamburger bun.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit more about Amazo, because that's another one that wasn't in the animation. I mean,
yeah, he was.
Amazo was?
Yeah, Batman and Nightwing, they fought Amazo in a warehouse dock in the animated movie.
I totally spaced on that. I'm trying to remember where else I've seen Amazo, or where else he's been besides this cool trap that they walk into in the middle of this story. Because I know, like, I'm reading about him in the graphic novel, and they describe him well enough that you get the idea of how much of a threat this bad boy is. But, yeah, like, where else have they utilized this character?
I mean,
I'm trying to remember.
You mean like in other forms of media?
Or, I mean, in other DC stories, really. Yeah, not other forms of media, because if you tell me other stuff, then... And if I've seen it, I'm just going to be disappointed in my memory. I'm just going to have to start taking memory support drugs. Yeah,
I mean, at this point, he was used in a lot of previous DC crossover events. I couldn't tell you anything specific off the top of my head.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Amazo, he's always been a pretty cool villain just because of his power set. And he's pretty damn unstoppable. But yeah, he has like the powers of 7 members of the Justice League. But fortunately, with this being an older model, he doesn't have the capability of flight, and he also doesn't have Wonder Woman's lasso or a version of Green Lantern's ring.
Right. Which at that point, OP just calling for some help too.
He's already OP.
Yeah. Well, true.
And it's kind of funny because throughout this fight, Batman makes mention that this model doesn't have a version of Diana's lasso or Hal's ring, so we're lucky. And I was like, yeah, sure, lucky.
Lucky's a word for it. I guess whenever you have the powers of these Justice League members and not the brain capacity or the ability to utilize the brain as well as Batman, then you're getting that footing a little higher. Like, you're not equal footing by far, but you just gained a big ass advantage. Had Amazo the capability of getting power sets and brain compatibilities? Ooh. You better never become friends with, like, Brainiac or something. Yeah.
So, come to find out... Oh, by the way, guys, so throughout this fight, this isn't just a cool fight, but this is another really cool thing that Judd Winnick does with his writing, is that he really stylizes the complex relationship between Bruce and Dick here, as Dick is kind of thinking to himself about their... kind of how they work together and like how they, or more so about how Dick came up under Bruce as Robin. and like all the things that he learned from Bruce and how much he admires Bruce. And it's just really cool to see here this kind of growth in Nightwing.
Yeah.
And really, he's still trying to figure out a lot about Bruce that he still doesn't know. Bruce has never minded me running my mouth during the fight, which is interesting because Bruce is always the more quiet and stoic one.
Right.
And was it because he didn't mind it, or did he use that as a distraction?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's what I was about to say, because he even takes mention of that here, where it's like, you know what? He takes use of it. He makes sure to take advantage of my wordiness.
Yeah.
But he also, he's also trained me well enough so that I know when it's time and when it's not time to go wordy.
Let's see. So with the help of the Batmobile, they do destroy Amazo. This whole time, they're just really messing this thing up, like jacking it up. And but the whole thing was just a decoy for the Batmobile to get there, and the Batmobile blows Amazo to shit. And once again, Batman with that intellect, he comes through. And Nightwing's like, you think it's still alive? And Batman goes, if it was, he'd be using Aquaman's speed, traveling 80 knots to get here really fast. So I'm going to say no, he is...
right, he is incapacitated.
But of course, in typical Batman fashion, they go check on him anyway, just to make sure.
Yeah.
Yep. And let's see, so Red Hood, he calls and taunts Black Mask over the stolen shipment. Because of course, Red Hood was at the dock setting everything up even before Batman got there, and Black Mask, it's really funny because Black Mask, he's kind of playing it cool at first.
Yeah,
he's not losing his shit. He's not overreacting about anything. He's actually being really calm.
Right, which is again surprising for him. You know, hey, I got one of your crates. Oh, son of a! All right, what's which one? What manifest number? Like an upset manager.
Right.
Like, oh, you made my day a little worse. Whatever.
Yeah.
Which one? Yeah.
This one doesn't have a shipment number on it, but looks like there's about over 100 pounds of kryptonite.
Yeah.
And Black Mask's response is, yeah, I'm going to need that.
His non-existent pupils just shrunk. Like, oh, yeah, that one's important.
Like, you found that shipment.
Yeah.
And so, at this point, it's still a real big filling out process. Black Mask, he's able to talk Red Hood into meeting up for an exchange. They agree on $50 million for the kryptonite. And I think it's not explicitly shown here. Red Hood, of course, knew that it was a setup. But I think that Black Mask knew that Red Hood would know that this is an obvious setup.
Yeah. I mean, he even makes comment during the phone call because his go-to lieutenant secretary, man, is just like, hey, whoa, what? I'm sorry, you're going to liquidate $50 million? Are you insane? Is he insane? You can't do this, But then Black Mask turns to him and goes, look, no, this guy, he knows what the hell he's doing, okay? Just go with it. There's something shit happening, okay? It was interesting knowing how just through a short phone conversation, Black Mask is like, okay, this guy's the real deal, he's the shit, and this is how we're going to do with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so this is when it gets Mr. Freeze involved. And Mr. Freeze, for a man who deals, with cold therapy, he has no chill. Because he just immediately...
Right, damn it.
I am proud of that one.
Go sit in the corner. I've accidentally made a couple puns today myself at work, and I didn't even mean to. I've been on the podcast too long, man. Whatever. Anyways,
Mr. Freeze, he kills one of Black Goon's men just for talking too much.
Another one.
And Black Mask is like, okay, so I see how you work now. That's cool.
That's cool. Hey, you're a little crazy. I can do crazy.
Yeah, I can deal with that. And so Black Mask, he decides to send Mr. Freeze and some of his goons down to kill Red Hood. And of course, when Mr. Freeze and the gang get there, one of the head goons opens up the briefcase to show Red Hood the money. And Red Hood goes, so what is it? A layer of 100 on the top, and then ones on the bottom. And then I think it's Mr. Freeze that goes, actually, it's just newspaper clippings.
Basically,
like
yeah.
the Gotham Gazette or something
Actually,
like that.
the funny thing is Red Hood even said, oh, is it this neighborhood? Is this newspaper? And then Mr. Freeze is like, no, it's actually a cheaper newspaper, this one.
Yeah. And so at this point, a fight breaks out that, once again, both parties knew was going to happen. And also at this point, Batman and Nightwing show up. And they do fisticuffs and stuffs. Fisticuffs and stuffs. That's a new saying now. That's going to be on the Superhero Homies T-shirt. When
I know, right? Fisticuffs and stuff.
Fisticuffs and
Superhero Homies.
But no, so throughout the melee, I think Red Hood does kill all of the henchmen. Mr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze makes a chilling escape. And
all right, you forced that one in there.
Now you know how it feels.
Oh, I've never minded it.
And but Red Hood also gets away throughout all the melee. And so at this point, things get interesting because Batman, he's really trying to figure out what the hell is up with this guy. This Red Hood guy's interesting. He knows that Mr. Freeze is out there on the loose, and Mr. Freeze seems to be more powerful than ever, but
right, better tech and everything now.
Yeah. But you gotta imagine that Batman is still like, okay, I can work around Mr. Freeze. Like, I can still find a way to bring him down.
Yeah.
But this Red Hood guy, I don't know. There's something about him.
And there's always very carefully written notes here, in all the panels here, talking about near the end of all these encounters with him. He's like, always recollecting how familiar this dude is. So it's kind of a build-up process every time they meet up. Like, Nightwing notices, this guy, he's very good. Yes, he's very good.
Yep.
My Batman voice needs some work, but give me a few minutes, I'll have to have a better one.
You know,
if we wanted to take minutes for me to practice,
right.
that is, right.
The Batman voice is one that no one should ever try because Kevin Conroy is a demigod.
Oh my gosh, he is, dude. He's a powerful Kevin.
Oh man. But yeah, so next up, we pan out and we're at a random rundown fun house, and inside this dirty unmaintained fun house, the Joker is kind of sitting in a corner, kind of just off to himself. And he looks up and he goes, "What? Who you there? You know, I'll kill you. I'm not playing around."
Yeah.
And it's of course Red Hood who goes, "Oh, I believe you." And he assaults, and by assault I mean he beats the shit out of Joker with a crowbar.
Like, there's an entire page of him literally taking a crowbar to this man. Like, is he alive? Okay, how about now? Okay, how about is he dead?
Yep.
So let me ask you this. Let me interrupt you here, because this was a question I already knew had to be asked. What is going on with the Joker right now? You know, we always think of him as this you know, comedic, evil, crazy madman genius who's got some kind of plot figured out all the time. But now he looks like a rundown drug addict, just chilling in some crazy ass funhouse, just not really up to much.
Well, first of all, Joker always looks like a drug addict.
I mean, sure, but I mean, here he looks more run down. They even draw him with like, he's just, you know, the spirit's gone. He's just there, just drooping, not even really smiling anymore. Just kind of like, oh,
yeah,
what do you want? You know, just more annoyed than anything. But again, he just looks, you know, beaten.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I'm not certain. I have to go back and read those back issues of Batman.
Okay.
I mean, because once again, like, you know, the trade paperbacks, they're just collections of the comic run that have the overall collective story of the arc.
Right. Yeah. So. I'm kind of surprised he lived after this encounter, to be honest. Because shit, dude.
Well, I mean, you know, it's bad, but it's no worse than the beating that Batman put on him in Hush, which takes place prior to this.
True.
Yeah. But anyways, the next thing we get here is Oh yeah. The next thing we get here is Red Hood. He destroys a cargo truck full of high-tech guns that belong to Black Mask, and it's funny because now Black Mask is starting to really get upset now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black Mask, he had so much money and so much equipment running around. He didn't even know what was in the damn truck.
Yeah.
But he knew that there was a lot of money that blew up.
Which truck was it? It was the one with the taser laser rifles. I don't even know what those are. But I'm mad they're gone.
Excuse me. So Red Hood destroys another cargo load that belongs to Black Mask. The next thing we really get here is Batman. He meets up with Zatanna to look at one of the destroyed / sealed up Lazarus pits.
Again, I never expected this character to even make an appearance.
Yep. Yep. Zatanna shows up here, unlike the animated movie.
Fascinating, the creative layout that the writers and the creators of the story had in mind for this.
Yeah, this is a pretty unique scene here, and now you can tell. I mean, if you didn't already know, now you definitely know that Batman is suspecting something's up, like something with Jason is up. You can tell that he's suspecting this already, but Batman doesn't want to say it out loud.
Right, he's not telling any of these characters.
Yeah,
none of them.
Yeah, but his first encounter with Zatanna is interesting. He, oh man,
you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. He meets up with Zatanna at a sealed up Lazarus pit. And she's asking him, what's this all about? What are we doing here? And Batman is really not giving her anything. He's asking her questions about has the Lazarus pit ever resurrected anybody? And questions of that nature. And Batman's just kind of dodging all of her questions. And then essentially, he tells her, I brought you here because I needed somebody that I could trust. Unfortunately, I had to settle for you.
Great setup.
Which was savage. Yeah. Damn, that was savage.
It really is. Like, dadgum, Batman. Come on, man.
I even have that written down here. Batman is a savage. And then next, he meets up with Jason Blood, and they discuss, resurrection as well. And by the way, Jason Blood is Etrigan the Demon, or the alter ego of Etrigan, the rhyming demon.
Yeah. They even take note of that here. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And and so Batman talks to him about resurrection as well. Like, is resurrection, is it possible? Like, and what forms does it take? And Jason Blood is telling Batman, well, one of the most common forms that we see is like zombies, but like the more intricate forms do exist, but they're extremely difficult.
And they actually take planning. They can't just be done impromptu or anything,
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Not like there's a reality stone or a time stone.
Okay.
Or others.
Wow. Anyways, so the next thing we get here is that we're introduced to the character Onyx in the story. And Onyx, she's a trained assassin, and she's actually like the only other hero at this time that Batman allows to fight crime in Gotham besides Catwoman. Yeah. And so there is a really cool type of mutual respect here. But Onyx, she breaks up a drug dealer meeting. And by the way, Onyx is not in the animated movie.
Nope, that's another one.
Onyx, she breaks up a drug dealer meeting, and she gets info on the Red Hood. The goons are telling her that they're not working for Black Mask, they're working for Red Hood now. And so she gets the first bit of intel on Red Hood, and she tries to give Batman that same intel, but Batman's not really having it. Batman's like, I thought I told you to use this line for, emergency purposes only. Do you know where the Red Hood is? Do you know who he is? Oh, no? Okay then. We're done here.
Only call me if you run into him. Click.
Yep.
Yeah.
And let's see. So Batman next, he goes to Star City, and he talks with the Green Arrow, and they have a really interesting meeting. These guys have never liked each other, and this is kind of like the culmination of their their dislike of each other.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as Batman and Green Lantern.
Batman just hates the color green.
He just hates the color green.
It's another green superhero. We don't need that shit.
But no, so he's asking Oliver about the time that he died, and is there any other information? And Oliver is taking it really personal.
Yeah, I mean,
and he's being really defensive. And essentially, Batman says, I don't know what your problem is with me, but I know you're not petty enough to be mad at me for something that I did. So it must be something that you did to me. But whatever it is, you need to work that shit out.
Yeah, what the hell is going on there? I'm not going to be patient enough to wait for some future story to explain it. What is up? I mean, is Green jealous? Is there, I mean, what, he slept with Catwoman? I mean, come on.
I'm really not sure what the underlying reason is between their beef.
We're going to have to look that up. I don't know, because that's interesting. Yeah. Especially because in the end of this interaction, Batman's flying away on his, zip line, and you hear the Green Arrow just go, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be something to do with their terrible relationship with Hal Jordan. Because Green or Oliver and Hal are like best friends, and of course Batman and Hal hate each other.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Let's see. Next
the
up,
enemy of my friend is also my enemy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's kind of an interesting order here, so I'm going to try to actually rearrange it so that it works out best for the podcast here.
Okay.
The order of events. So next, Batman, he talks with, he goes to Metropolis and stops a couple of criminals. Superman shows up, of course, and those two have words.
Yep.
I think Superman wants to have lunch.
Yeah, Superman's like, hey, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for visiting,
Yep.
What you up to? See, I know there's a great place in the city.
Yep.
Trying to crack some jokes in here, and Batman's like, not now, Clark.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yep. So, Batman and Superman, they have a talk about the time that Superman died. And, Superman, he's basically saying, well, I don't think I technically died, though. My heartbeat just slowed down to the point where it really couldn't be traced. And Batman's like, always think logically, but now something's going on, and I don't know if logic can really solve this problem. And Batman, he doesn't explain to Superman what's going on, but he lets his guard down the most in comparison to Green Arrow and Zatanna.
Yeah, you do see a little bit more of that deep connection these two heroes have, even though opposites they are. Just because, I mean, dare I say, but Batman kind of gets a little emotional, without, of course, letting his guard down too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
he does, because the thought running through Batman's head at this point has got to be like, Jason's dead because of me. And is he really back? Is there a ghost of Jason that's back haunting me? Like, there's something going on, and it's not making logical sense, which is making Batman all the more frustrated.
Yeah. And all the past and all the good ideas he's having in order to find the logic behind it are coming up short. So it's only building upon that, making it more frustrating, I'm imagining. Yeah.
Let's see. So the next thing we get here is Onyx. She sneaks into another dealer meetup, and these dealers are discussing the Red Hood and what they can do about this increasingly bad Red Hood problem. These guys want to try to take him out, and then Red Hood sneaks up on Onyx, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah.
And,
no big deal. Just like, oh, hey, you're here already. What's up? Can I have this spot?
Yeah.
Thanks.
And Red Hood, he shows that he can be a little charming. He's able to essentially convince Onyx and a lot of the readers that, hey, I'm not that bad of a guy.
Yeah.
You want to help me take these guys down?
Yeah. Like,
and
hey.
she's like, but I thought that you were. It's like, oh, just come on. If you're not gonna help me, I'll go by myself.
Yeah. Like, hey, I'm gonna go down there. You can join me if you want.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure at the end of this, if what happened didn't happen, he could have said, hey, so tomorrow morning I'm going down for waffles. You want to come join me? There's room for another in the booth.
She probably would have responded with, "How do you eat with that helmet on?"
Oh, you'll find out.
I mean, I hope so because I don't know. But no.
There's a slit. He just slides it open.
But no, so Red Hood jumps down there and begins to, fight all these thugs, all these drug dealers. And eventually Onyx, she's like, you know what? Screw it. Why not? And so she jumps down there too. And they're working really well together, kicking some ass and all that. And but then, there's too many guns going off. Too many guns firing in the confined space. And so they both realize, okay, we got to get out of here, make some more room for ourselves. And so they go for the door. But as soon as they make it out the door, fucking Red Hood picks up a Gatling gun, a minigun,
right?
and just mows down all the drug dealers.
Overkill.
I was like, shit.
I know, right? Oh, look, they're funneling out. Oh, look, we're done.
We're done
All
here.
right.
And then at this point, Onyx like, what are you doing? Like, he was like, what? Like, come on, how did you think this was going to end?
I know, right? Like, what did you expect, woman? Yeah.
And I really love this next part here where she's like, I don't care who you think you are, but I'm going to find a way to stop you. And then she doesn't even realize that during this conversation that they're having with one another, that she has been stabbed through the shoulder and she is pinned to a crate behind her.
Yeah. Now that is curious. Like, how the hell do you do that? How do you stab someone without them and their nerves just flaring off? Like, hey, stuff's happening over here, man. This left shoulder's not okay. I mean, dang. And then he holds a Gatling gun to her face. Like,
Yeah.
that's a bad night.
It is, yeah. And, but Red Hood, he knows how this thing goes, and so he's like, okay. At first, he gives her like two options. Goes, you can either, I can take the knife out and you can join me, or you can die here. And then he goes, oh, I'm kidding. Yeah. And then he removes the knife from her shoulder, and he does like some field work to patch up her shoulder.
Yeah. Gives her like this cool medical soldier, like military level blanket thing that's like supposed to adhere to the wound well, and it's like, well, dadgum Red Hood. You're just toying with people now.
He is.
Yeah.
And then he goes, all right, come on. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, this is the part where you try to stop me, remember? And then I kick your ass. But no, not quite. This is when Batman shows up to kick some ass.
Real quick, before we see that ass kickery, I love the chemistry here. I love Red Hood's character,
Oh, yeah.
Now, his philosophy, I can get behind that and not behind that in panels, depending which ignore. But, dadgum, man, like, this is one of my favorite DC characters still, and this is only emphasized that fact more. This whole story, this scene particularly, really cool stuff. Like, hey, you're gonna die here. I'm joking. Come on, let's go. I'm serious about them waffles. I like blueberries on mine.
What the hell?
I know, right? I should never write.
Okay, yeah, but on the flight over though, because Batman has been tracking Onyx ever since she caught him about the Red Hood, and but on the ride over to where Onyx was at, Batman was actually contemplating about Jason Todd's death.
Yeah,
and he was thinking about the events that transpired and just how Jason was, and but yeah, so Batman shows up and the two fight, and this kind of takes us back to the beginning of the book, to that cold open, and the two fight, and Batman he's shocked, of course, and he's stunned at the events that are transpiring, and it's a really cool and unique fight here because Jason he's talking shit, but he's also showing Bruce like, look, I know everything about you, I know who you are.
I know your tricks, and I know my tricks, and I picked up more, and I know what you're going to do next. Yep. Yeah.
And he continues to taunt Batman. And once again, we go to the point at the beginning of the book where Batman's cowl has been removed, and Red Hood goes, well, it's only fair, and so he removes his hood.
Which honestly, at this point, he was anxious to do that. You know, this is the moment he's been practicing and getting back on his feet for.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the reason the Red Hood became.
Yeah.
And
you just knew that Red Hood wanted to see the look on Bruce's face when he removed that helmet.
Yeah.
And Batman, he can't believe it. Batman's not buying it. But at this point, Jason he gives him like some a tissue sample, DNA sample.
I know, right?
Like everything, just
He
to prove
knows him so well.
just to prove that it's him. And then the next thing we get here is what I call Batman remembering the rise and fall of Jason. Mm-hmm. And this is a really cool moment here in the graphic novel. And they also did a really good job with this moment in the animated movie also.
Yeah. Also here, another thing that happened that was reflected in the movie as well, one thing I want to talk about, the Red Hood blew up his mask. One of them, sure, but still, he ended this short little meeting with Bruce in this alleyway by extending his arm, clicking a button, running away, and the mask blowing up, which means he was wearing a bombed mask the whole time. I'm not sure I have that level of confidence to wear a bombed mask. If someone's like shooting at me, or if like the wrong thing happens, or it gets too daggum hot, then F the mask, man. I don't know. Like, dang. Freaking Bat family members just packing so much heat.
Well, that kind of goes back to like
What's up?
Kind of like the problem with any kind of superhero vigilante that carries any kind of munitions on them. It's kind of like I guess spoiler alert. It's kind of like Peter Quill said in Infinity War. Like, are these grenades the junk blowing off kind, or what kind? So I mean, essentially, like any kind of character that carries munition carries the potential for their own self-death.
True.
I guess at least if Red Hood's helmet blows up, at least it's a sudden death and not like a maiming death.
I mean, you don't even have time to think to yourself, oh, I made a mistake. Like, it just happens.
Yep.
So, I mean, little column A, little column B.
Yeah. See? It all works out.
Heroism or vigilanteism.
But yeah.
That's the word. There it is. I made that.
So we do get some really cool panels here of Batman remembering Jason. And we get to see like some really cool flashbacks here of how Jason was. Right. And this is undercut with the moments of Bruce going through all the motions of digging up the gravesite, going through the casket, just going over every little detail, just analyzing every little thing. Mm-hmm. And we get some flashback moments here of when Jason, when the two first met, when Batman was actually parked on Crime Alley. And Jason was trying to hijack the rims and wheels from the Batmobile.
Which, kudos for even doing that and, still being able to walk afterwards. Yeah.
I mean, he was a kid.
Yeah, true. But I mean, even then it's like, okay, I'm not going to beat you up, but that's mine.
Yeah. But yeah, we get to see like how they first met. Batman's impressions of him, and we get to see how Jason was, when he first started. And like most of like my early Batman stuff that I have is mostly Tim Drake, but I do have some Jason Todd stuff besides the Death in the Family. And and it is interesting to kind of see Jason make that turn. Yeah, I guess because just in a meta sense here for a moment, Jason, Jason, it really wasn't fair to him as a character, because he had to follow the footsteps of the wildly popular Dick Grayson.
Right, the first Robin.
Yeah, who at this point, of course, had moved on to join the Teen Titans and then eventually became Nightwing. And he was just still insanely popular, but in the minds of a lot of readers back in the 80s was, if there's going to be Robin, it needs to be Dick Grayson. We don't want another Robin. So that's one thing that that Jason had going against him. The other thing that Jason had going against him was the writers, they didn't want him to be too similar to Dick Grayson, because then what's the point? And so they had to make some pretty glaring personality differences to make this character stand out and stand apart from Dick Grayson.
So let me ask you this: in the material you have, and also the material you're familiar with, did we see a jarring difference that they wrote in eventually? You know, the mental changes that our boy Jason went through. You know, the darker personality that he eventually gained. Did we see that growing and eventually becoming who he was?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
I mean, because essentially in the events that we get in A Death in the Family, like, we were going to get that ending regardless. The only difference was going to be whether or not he survived the explosion or not.
Right.
So the warehouse blowing up, the crowbar beating, all of that was going to take place. The voting didn't take place until afterwards. So, or actually technically during. So,
True.
So we were going to get all that regardless. And the reason why that's so important is just to show that Jason Todd had already, begun that radical transformation of, kind of being a little headstrong.
Right.
And,
Not afraid to be more violent at this point, yeah. So let me ask you this then. Whenever they took that vote, whenever they sent out that popular survey, something that I don't think that has been done in like since for, ever since, do you believe that they had this planned out? That they eventually realized that the Red Hood was going to be a new character?
No.
No, of course not.
No,
okay.
Of course not, because he died in like 88.
Okay.
And he was brought back in like 05. So.
Okay, yeah. It'd be stupid, impossibly difficult to plan out that much.
Yeah.
And that point, again, impossibly so.
Right.
Just wondering. No, just wanted to hear that out, I mean, I'm sure there's a conspiracy theorist comic book fanboy out there who right now is saying, nah, that was totally planned.
Right.
Like, okay.
My conspiracy theory, it's not
What's
really a
that?
conspiracy theory, but it's just like really weird coincidences.
Sure.
It was actually back during one of our previous podcasts when we talk about like the comic book copycats and the ones that are so similar. And one of the pairings that I mentioned was Red Hood and Winter Soldier, and how these two do have a lot in common. Like, even in the meta sense, like, both of them died really with no expectation of them coming back. No one expected Bucky to come back. No one expected Jason Todd to come back.
I think that's one thing that made it so daggum good when they did. Yeah. That made the character...
It can be argued that, but at the same time, with both of them, during their death, no one cared about them that much.
Okay.
So it's not like they were wildly popular when they died.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see that point, But, I mean, one thing that I recognize, and maybe it's all personal, and maybe there aren't as many as I would believe feeling the same way I do. But when these two characters came back, their value, their respect, the amount of fans that these characters had skyrocketed. Like all of a sudden Jason become like, oh shit, Jason's cool now. Yeah, go him. Or, the same with Bucky can be said. Yeah.
Yeah, the two were, I mean, if they weren't more popular when they came back, then
there's no making them popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even down to the fact that the first issue of the Winter Soldier arc and the first issue of Under the Red Hood came out like within months of each other. So it's really interesting to just look at all those kind of similar parallels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. The meta comic book world.
Yeah. Let's see. The next thing here, moving on throughout the story.
Yeah.
Batman, he saves two meth dealers. They are not from Breaking Bad, but there are two meth dealers.
Say my name. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, he saves two meth cooks from a warehouse that was rigged to explode.
I'm sorry.
And,
I just imagine Walter and Batman meeting. Like, I would pay for that shit. Yeah. I don't even know what they would do. Like, I don't know. I'd want someone to write that scene for me. Someone way just strong, talented at writing. Someone more so than anyone I know. But
with all due respect to Walter White, I don't see that being that much happening. It'd be like Batman.
I think you can put some meat into there.
I mean, you really have to work hard at it because
Just
it'd be
give
like
this to me, damn it.
It'd be like Batman shows up, someone who has even more of a clever intellect than Walter White, and not a meth cooking mentality. And it'd essentially be Batman showing up and arresting this guy. That's
well. Okay. Well, we could let Walter be a kingpin here, you know.
A kingpin.
Exactly.
Walter White's not the kingpin type. He likes to cook.
I still think it'd be an interesting meeting, damn it.
It is my goal to crush all dreams and realizations. That's what I live for. But no.
This just became depressing.
Batman, he saves the two meth dealers from a warehouse where they were doing their cooks. The warehouse is rigged to explode, and Batman realizes that. That's why he saved them. At first, when he came bursting through the warehouse, they thought that Batman was in the building to kick their ass.
Yeah.
But then Batman quickly rips a panel off the wall, revealing the bomb.
Right.
And the bomb was there, of course, because one of the stupid ass dealers was selling to a high schooler, or had an underling that was selling to a high schooler.
Yep.
And the other underling was like, man, if Red Hood finds out we're dead, and they're like, okay, listen, we won't let it happen again, and Red Hood doesn't have to find out, we're good. And then this is when Batman shows up and reveals the bomb hidden in the building. It's like, you guys need to get the hell out of here.
I know you guys choose shit buildings, but you guys really know your shit building's better than this. Cracks open the wall. Everyone's just like, oh, what? Yeah, it's just kind of funny how all of a sudden now it's like, it's more important to stop the bomb than to stop the small armada of criminals running out of the building.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Because was it more than just those two?
Oh yeah, no, it's a good. I mean, they're not really drawn in detail, but it's like 10, 11, running out. Yeah, little squad.
All right. I mean, because at that point it'd just be. That's the difference of the mentality between, Jason Todd and Batman is. Batman is about saving the lives. Like, there's value in all lives. Yeah. And, Jason's like, well, if there's scum, there's scum. And if they're not, helping society at all, then what's the point of them being here?
Yep. Again, that Batman code of morality.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of, that's the thing that's scary about the society that we live in. It's because there's a lot of people that are like, well, yeah, Jason's right. Yeah, I mean, if you're not promoting the society or helping the society move forward, then why are you here? We don't need you. Yeah. So that's kind of a sad note about America that we live in. But yeah, so Batman's not able to stop the bomb from going off, and Jason, he's on an intercom and looking at Batman through a camera, watching him work, and Jason just loves the way that Batman works, and Jason's telling him, "Oh, you're not gonna have time, better get out of there. You're not gonna make it." And Batman realizes that he's right, and Batman narrowly escapes. And then Red Hood, man, this guy is busy because as soon as the building escapes, Red Hood, he destroys another one of Black Mass shipments.
Yeah, like instantaneous. Dude.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're led to believe that some amount of time has passed because this whole story takes place in like a 5-week arc, pretty much. Right. And then it's almost as soon as he blows up that shipment for the Red Hood, Red Hood is flipping his shit at his assistant right now. Like, I can't believe that he got another Black Mass. Yeah. Can't believe he got another one of our shipments, and Black Mass is just losing his shit. And Red Hood is on a rooftop opposite of the building that Black Mask is in, and Black Mask looks up just in time to see Red Hood waving at him with a rocket launcher in hand. And Red Hood fires a rocket at the building that Black Mask is in. Black Mask and his assistant narrowly escape.
I know, right? I love the chemistry that goes on the street here. Yeah. Like, how do you know to blow up the building? How do you know what floor? I mean, we had that thing decked out in defenses, blah, blah, blah. And wait, how did you get out? Oh, I ran, sir. I take cycling classes.
Yeah, I take spin classes.
Oh, they work for you. Like, so complimentary. Right. My skyscraper is blowing up, but good job. Who's your instructor?
I also love the way he does like the quote unquote head of security guy as well.
Oh my
that he meets in the alley.
You could have thought that was like a long lost friend. Like, oh hey, what's up, man? Hey, thank goodness you're alive. Boom.
Yep. Yeah,
freaking great.
Black Mask puts a bullet in the head of security's head, essentially because this guy's running like, "Oh man, sorry," and he makes some haphazard excuse as for not being there when shit went down, and of course Black Mask isn't having any of that, and immediately puts a bullet in the guy's head. It's pretty great. But yeah, so after this, Black Mask is approached by Deathstroke. The man himself is there, and his the last remaining few of Black Mask henchmen. They attempt to raise their guns at Deathstroke, and Black Mask is like, put your guns down.
What the hell do you think you're doing? Get down.
Like if this man wanted it, you would all be dead.
This man is top 5-star quality. You're Walmart goons. Chill out. What do you want?
More like freaking dollar store.
There you go. Yeah.
Return.
Well, I mean, Black Mask can afford Walmart. Come on.
Oh, and I'm talking about his goons.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but in comparison, yeah.
It really don't matter at that point.
Yeah. So Deathstroke is there to ask him if he'd like to join something called the Society. And then this leads to another interesting arc that really isn't in the movie either. True. But like the overall theme and how it plays out is in the movie. So essentially we move on here, and Black Mask is extremely frustrated with Deathstroke because when Black Mask joined this society, this cabal of criminal, he was expecting Deathstroke to. So essentially, guys, the Society is this group. It's this criminal organization where essentially you hire or you work for the Society, and in return, they'll provide you with the manpower that you would require to take down whatever threat that you have. And so Deathstroke, or Black Mask is thinking, all right, so I'm gonna get somebody good to take down the Red Hood. I'm gonna get some top tier guys. But instead, he gets Captain Nazi and the Hyena.
When I first read those names, admittedly, I thought they were made up on the spot. Like, these guys never had a backstory, and this was their introduction, their short-lived origin. Because that is so just bad. Mm-hmm. Captain Nazi, really?
Captain Nazi.
How antiquated. What the shit are you trying to do with your creative life, you know? And the Hyena, okay. Come on. Mm-hmm. Come on.
Yep.
And freaking Black Mask, he wasn't having it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You get Captain Nazi and Hyena, well knowing they're in hearing distance.
Right. And he's like, this is just such a great conversation, guys.
It really is.
I mean, Black Mask is like, Captain Nazi is blind, and Deathstroke is like, he has his special goggles that he can see through.
He's got good shit.
and then Black Mask is like, and I thought Hyena was dead, and Deathstroke is like, no, that's a different Hyena. The original Hyena's dead, but this one's still alive. I think it's a girl. Is it? I don't know.
You want to find out? Pass.
Yeah.
It's so funny here.
It is, because the Hyena is just like a wild, feral, upright dog.
Basically, yeah.
And of course, Captain Nazi looks like what you would imagine the Captain Nazi looking like.
The shoulder pauldrons with the little tassels, the bad looking goggles, and of course a big old swastika across the chest. Like, okay, neo-Nazi villain.
Yep. Hey, going back to our fucked up society in America, we said that he's antiquated, but hell, there's a lot of people that would join him today.
Oh my gosh. Shit, dude. Where's Childish Gambino at?
Yeah. But so essentially they draw Red Hood out by attacking one of the dealers that's working for Red Hood. Red Hood shows up, and he's attacked by Captain Nazi and Hyena. And Batman shows up just like Red Hood anticipated. Yeah. And then the two team up to kick some Nazi and Hyena ass.
This was one of my favorite parts of the story, really. Even though these are like pseudo-level villains, really. Just little knockoffs that you can like scratch off with the wham, pow, boom, little panel decorations and whatnot. It was still an awesome moment to finally see these two team back up.
Right. We get to see them work together. And I forget who they fought in the animated movie. Was it the Serpent Society? No. I forget who it was.
I don't know. we'd have to watch it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, they fight a different group that's directly hired by Black Mask in the animated movie.
Yeah.
But no, so here they're being attacked by Captain Nazi and Hyena. And yeah, it is really cool to see Jason and Batman work together to just kick some ass. And Batman even mentions, like, you know, it's almost like instinct. I don't have time to think. I just react. And I'm completely open to an attack from Red Hood. But, you know, he lends that trust.
Oh, yeah.
And it works.
Yeah. A cool thought process going on here is that in the background, you hear Alfred's thoughts. And he's talking about how these two trained in the cave day in and day out, practicing over and over again these moves until they weren't thoughts. They weren't things they had to realize were going to happen. They just became instinct. And that's the way it came across this. Like, no time has passed. No deaths have happened. No resurrections have occurred. It's literally, oh, I'm doing this. He knows to do that. And I know he just did it, so I'm doing my finish-up move here. It's the perfect team-up combo again.
Yeah.
You know, and that's literally every Batman-Robin relationship. And, I don't know. It was just really cool to witness that. You know,
it was.
Yeah.
But then a third villain shows up to the party, whose name is Count Vertigo, and he does exactly what you think he would do.
Again, wow.
Yep.
Just okay.
Yep. Just like, okay, really, I Count Vertigo. But he's actually pretty effective.
Yeah.
He like invokes some serious ass vertigo to the point where you really can't even stand up. And but Batman, being like the ever resilient one and the one who's always prepared, he lets down his eye shields and his earplugs. And they're really, those things are meant for encounters with Scarecrow's toxin.
Right.
But it's like they'll work for this occasion. It does basically leave Batman blind and deaf, but you know, at least he's not susceptible to those vertigo effects.
Yeah.
And he comes with a pretty ingenious plan here, and I think it's pretty great.
I mean, you know, Deathstroke at some point had to anticipate Batman finding a way out of the situation. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's
the way
if,
he did it. Super creative.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. That's if Deathstroke anticipated Batman showing up for the fight, because this is meant for Red Hood, not Batman.
True. Okay.
Like, I think that if Black Mask approached Deathstroke and was like, I need help taking down the Batman, I think Deathstroke does it himself.
Right. I think Deathstroke, you're correct there, wouldn't have wasted his time hiring these little low-level, no-name society members, or these members who are trying to become society members, and this was their initiation, you know.
That's what it seems like. Probably what it should have been.
Yeah.
But no, so what Batman does with Count Vertigo is really cool. First of all, he gives Jason some like an adrenaline needle, and he tells Jason, okay, when I tell you to, I need you to hit the hyena with these with this adrenaline. And Batman, he goes up and he attempts to fight Count Vertigo, and he misses with his punch, but he grabs a piece of Vertigo's cloak. And Vertigo is you know, he's blind to what's happening here. Vertigo's just thinking he's winning the fight.
Right.
And then Batman, he immediately goes over and pummels the shit out of the hyena. And this sends Hyena into a feral frenzy, because Hyena at this point, who we think is a she, she's been hit with the adrenaline from Jason Todd, and now she's being pummeled by Batman. But Batman has that piece of cloak from Count Vertigo in his hand. So now this wild feral dog, this hyena, has Vertigo's scent all going throughout her mind. And so instead of attacking Batman, she goes straight for Count Vertigo and takes him out. Batman immediately tranks Hyena to put her down. Count Vertigo's incapacitated, and Jason Todd kills Captain Nazi by forcing a taser into his face, to his eyes,
directly through the damn lens of his. Oh, look at his goggles. He's got goggles. No, F those. They're dead.
Yeah,
and as is the new Nazi Party leader.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so at this point, Batman's basically like, "God damn it, Jason! Like, really? Are we doing this right now?
How'd you think this was gonna end, man?" What'd you expect? I'm here to play.
It's just so great. Just this whole dynamic here. Because this is how it goes, guys. Like, if you ever find yourself in a situation teaming up with the Red Hood, you guys are gonna work together really great in the beginning, and then he's gonna kill somebody, and you're gonna be like, "What the hell, man?" Case in point, see his team up with Onyx earlier in the book. But yeah. So next up, Alfred gets a box mailed to him from Jason, and it's a package, and Alfred is taking all the precautionary tactics to make sure that this box isn't rigged to explode, have any kind of toxins, anything like that. But let's see here, going on here. So Black Mask, he has one last meeting with all of his men, and he's like, you guys are the last I have, and you're the best that I have, and he kind of gives a little
underperforming of late, all of you.
Yep. And after this last, if you want to call it a pep talk, you can.
It's a Black Mask version of pep talk, which is basically anger, just straight. You suck, you suck, you suck. Go do better.
Yep. But you guys are all I have, and I'm depending on you. And then they're like, and then like, okay, boss. So what's our next move? Well, and he mows them down. Black Mask kills all of his last men.
Yeah.
He mows them down, just kills them. And then out of the shadow comes Red Hood. And this is another just a great moment with Black Mask and Red Hood. And Black Mask is like, all right, I did it. I killed all my men. And now our agreement was that I kill all my men and you come work for me. Okay? Because you don't want to work with incompetents. So is this going to be a thing? Or are you going back on your word?
Did you have a change of heart?
Have a change of heart?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I did.
I know, right?
Black Mask is like...
Which is hilarious, because he literally played the perfect hand there. Like, hey, you should kill all your men for me. Okay. Are we on the same team yet? No.
Yeah. I'd imagine that I imagine that was a really interesting talk where like, look, here's what I do for you. I've been blowing up all your shipments, cutting you off from all your incomes.
Easily, too.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I'd imagine that Jason said, look, here's what I do for you, Black Mask. If you kill all your men, because I can't trust them, so just kill off all your men and let me be your guy.
Right.
And then we can work together and really get shit done. And Black Mask, I mean, probably, he's probably thinking, well, he kind of has me in a between a rock and a hard place here, so... I mean, worst case scenario, I lose everything. Best case scenario, I get the Red Hood working for me and I get my income back.
True. So, I mean, he was thinking positively. That's something.
But yeah, he quickly realized that this was not going to be the way it goes down.
This is what they call a ruse.
Yep. And so at this point, Black Mask and Red Hood immediately began fighting.
Oh yeah, and it's a classic bar brawl. Just awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, like breaking freaking wooden chairs and throwing bent up pool cues into each other. Just great. Yeah,
and it's just great here seeing these two go at it because it's easy to forget that Black Mask, he is formidable. Like he can hold his own in a fight. And but yeah, we see these two go at it, and it's a lot of fun. Like Kevin said, there's a lot of pool cues being broken, and just knives, and just all kinds of debauchery.
And Black Mask ragery, just it's freaking great.
Eventually, it ends with Jason getting stabbed.
Yep.
He gets stabbed like right beneath the sternum, and it's a pretty big knife too. And that happens as soon as Batman arrives. And so Batman sees Jason die. And, Batman's thinking, oh, not again. Like, I got here too late again. I watched my friend, my son, my brother die again.
Yep.
And come to find out, that was not Jason. That was a ruse.
Yeah, another. In a ruse. Like, it's a ruseception. Yep. But, who the hell was that?
It was just some guy. Just some ugly guy.
Some dude who was like, hey, let me go to toe to toe with the Black Mask. Okay, sure, why not? Here's some lookalike stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was another hired gun.
Yeah.
I mean, because the guy was obviously formidable.
Yeah.
Like, he knew how to fight.
Got to wear some cool clothes. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, why not?
And, I mean, once again, this is just another brilliant plan from Jason because, you know, I mean, it's a win-win for Jason because best case, I mean, in one scenario, Black Mask is killed.
Yep.
And in the other scenario, the guy dies and Black Mask lives, but the plot continues on.
You know, random ass thought, the Red Hood would be a sick cosplay, actually.
Yes,
I
it
gotta
would.
admit. Yeah.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
You have to figure out which version of the outfit you want to do. Are we doing like the Arkham Knight version? Are we doing the Under the Red Hood version or the New 52 version?
The one I can afford the best.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right,
Like the mask I would obviously buy.
So I was gonna say, so for the mask we get some red paper mache.
I know, right? No, I'd go out and actually fork the money for that because that would be awesome to keep afterwards. Always saying, hey, I dressed up as this.
Right.
You know, let my kids read the comics and then all of a sudden, like, quote unquote, accidentally let them find the mask. Like, was this you, Dad?
That was a long time ago.
That was a different lifetime. Don't ever talk about this again.
Oh no, even better. You need to kneel down to your kid and say, one day this is gonna be you.
Then I'm gonna get a messed up kid. Oh my gosh.
Okay. But let's see. So they realized that it was a decoy.
Yeah.
Jason, he planned this all out so that Batman would show up to see that happen, essentially. And at this point, Jason is he reveals to Batman, and Alfred finds out kind of the same time that Jason has Joker, and Batman's like, "Oh no, no." And
one of those reunions you shouldn't deal with. Like, when you go to a party and you know your best friend has this huge-ass grudge against someone else who's just a complete dick to your friend, and you're just like, wait, where's my friend at? Oh, crap, he's talking with so-and-so? No, you know. Yeah. Only this time it's lethal.
right. And Jason and Joker at this time, they have a really interesting talk, and it's really fun to see here. This cool, I guess, interesting relationship of sorts that they have. Joker says that as much as Jason won't admit it, Joker thinks that Jason won't kill him because he still has too much Batman mentality in him.
Yeah.
Joker says that you're not really about that life. He goes, you won't really kill me because, you know, you're still too much like Batman. And Jason counters with, by telling the Joker, you're crazy, I'll give you that, Joker, but you're not nearly as crazy as you want people to believe. You just pretend that you're that crazy to give yourself an excuse for all the sick things that you do. And it leaves Joker almost like without a smile on his face. And Joker kind of doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
And so that's really interesting because it kind of, you know, it gives room for, you know, one to think, so is Joker as crazy as he say he is? Or is Jason onto something? Because if Jason is onto something by saying that Joker isn't that crazy, he just pretends to be that crazy to excuse himself, then that in and of itself is another form of craziness.
Right.
It's another form
it's
of
a deeper level, something you have to really think about. Yeah. I mean, it was fascinating reading about it because I'm sure every reader to some point has asked themselves, is he really that crazy or is he just that much of a genius, a mad genius, but a genius, you know? And Jason's just at this point throwing it right in his face. And it's fascinating because it's finally airing it out like, hey, so come on, let's not front here. This is a show. You and I both know that you're not this crazy. It's a damn show.
Right. Yeah, I feel like Jason is offering up a third option though, because I feel like most people have always kind of thought, well, maybe Joker sees the like the meaning behind the chaos, and that's what he works off of. He's an agent of chaos, and like he's more like an entity, you know, like a storm,
Right.
But no, yeah, Jason's just offering up the option that you just not even that crazy. You just pretending. You just playing the part. But yeah, so they both bring up some really interesting points.
Yeah.
Here.
And Jason's point kills the smile of the Joker. Just instantly frowns. It's freaking great.
Let's see. Oh, by the way, guys, so the package that Alfred received, it was like a picture of the Joker. It was pretty much denoting that Red Hood has Joker. And Red Hood knows that Batman knows exactly where they need to meet, where it all began, which is at Crime Alley.
Yep.
Yeah. And so let's see. Yep. So Jason and Batman, they fight one more time on a rooftop at Crime Alley. Like, how intense can it get? And so this is just another really classic fight. But this fight is so good for multiple reasons. One, because it's drawn really well. It's drawn to show that these guys are both intelligent fighters that know each other. Mm-hmm. And it's also a good fight because it's an argument of fisticuffs as much as it is an argument of philosophies and ideologies as well. And so we really get to see that dynamic play out, and it's really fun to read. What's up?
No, I was just thinking also how Batman left the scene and was able to incapacitate the Black Mask.
Yeah. So when Batman leaves Black Mask, he doesn't just leave him free willy nilly to go.
Right.
He throws down these little tiny remote mines that are motion censored, and he throws them all around Black Mask. So whenever Black Mask tries to take a step, one of them goes off. And so Black Mask is essentially stuck there until Batman remembers to come back for him. And and
then as Batman drives away, so I guess I'll just wait here because I'm known for my patience. As he just kind of folds his arms like a little disgruntled 10-year-old, like, well, shit, could have left me something to do.
Oh man, yep. But let's see. Yeah, so the fight continues on with Jason and Batman, and midway during the fight, the freaking society, man, they drop another one of their members whose name is Chemo, and he's basically a living bomb.
Yeah.
He's a living nuclear bomb, and he's dropped right on Bloodhaven. And of course, Bloodhaven is like the home of Nightwing. It's where Nightwing patrols. And so Batman knows that Nightwing is there, and Batman is losing his shit right now because this giant ass living bomb just fell on Bloodhaven and just nuked the entire place. And so Batman's like, I gotta get over there. I gotta do something.
Yeah.
Jason's not letting that happen though. Jason is stopping Batman from leaving, and Batman knows that Jason wants him to fight his way out. And Batman Batman obliges.
Right.
And so at this point I was like, well, shit, this definitely also is not in the animated movie,
No, but we're coming up to a part that does have a lot of familiar feelings, a lot of ties that the movie does thankfully actually reflect pretty well. Yeah. There are some finer details I appreciate, however, in this version more. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What I thought was really interesting about what they did here with having Chemo the living bomb drop on Bloodhaven was the fact that it's kind of like what Jason mentions. You have now lost two Robins, and you were too late to save us. How does that make you feel? Just really amping it up,
right?
And it really does kind of send Batman to like almost wit's end. He's still trying to to think and analyze everything, but at this point, it's almost like, what do you do if you're Batman?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the two they continue the fight, and because Jason won't let Batman go, like they're just gonna have to fight it out, and then we get this powerful ending where there's a break in the fight, and the two are talking. And essentially, it comes down to the point where the iconic moment where Jason says to Bruce, "I don't blame you for letting me die. You never understood that. You still don't understand that. I don't blame you for letting me die. But why why is he still alive? And he reveals where the Joker is. He removes the covering from Joker, and at this point, Joker is loving it.
Yeah.
Joker is having a field day, and there's a lot of dialogue here taken straight from the comic that was put into the movie. Like even the line that Jason says about why is he still here.
Yeah.
And then the lines that Joker drops. A lot of these lines are directly in the animated film as well.
Ooh, we should get some pictures. We should get one of me and the boy, and then me and Batman. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Then one of the three of us, and then one of the Crowbar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I love that one. And the voice actor for that, I don't remember who that was, but dadgum.
John DiMaggio.
John DiMaggio? Yeah. That makes sense, actually. He's damn good.
He's
done a lot of great stuff. But man, he carried that line pretty well. And really, the whole scene, he was a great integral part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All parties did a great job. Jensen Ackles was the voice of Red Hood, and he did a great job. I mean, a lot of people still want him to be like the live action version of Jason Todd. Yeah, I think if it was 10 years ago, he would have been perfect. I don't know if he can do it now, though. I mean, he's still definitely, I think, in good enough shape. He would look the part enough, but I don't know. Are you Googling Jensen Ackles?
A little bit, yeah. Which also just means yes. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've heard the thought about him being Red Hood as well, but I was trying to see how old he really looks nowadays. Yeah. I would need someone younger, especially at this point in the Red Hood's career, because we can't have a Batman that much older either, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I guess we can. It all depends on it depends on how old we want Red Hood to be, how old we want the Batman to be.
Right, because they have to be reflective. It has to make sense, you know. But, you know, the older our boy is, the older our Batman has to be.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Anyways.
But yeah, so we have this really powerful ending here, and it really is a discussion of ideologies, where essentially, you know, Jason is saying that I'm not talking about killing Poison Ivy or a Scarecrow or Two-Face or Riddler or any of those guys. I'm just talking about him. I'm talking about killing him because of all the evil things he's done. I'm talking about why didn't you kill him? You should have killed him because of all the evil he does. You should have killed him because he took me from you.
Yeah. Which, dadgum, that's a heavy and honest hit. You know, that's really digging deeper into the meaning of Red Hood, into why the hell, you know, the resolve, the reason that he, you know, has grown into who he is. But damn.
Yeah. And, you know, Batman says, you know, like Batman, his rebuttal is basically, you know, that's not the way that it's done, Jason. Like Batman is essentially saying, look, I know myself. I know if I kill him, if I kill one, it won't stop there.
Yeah.
And but yeah, Jason's not having any of that, and so Jason's like, look, you're gonna have to make a decision here and now. And as Jason takes Joker and then puts a gun to his head and goes, I'm gonna count to 3, and you're gonna have to kill either me or him. The choice is yours. And Jason counts down, and right at the last moment, Batman throws a batarang. He aims it perfectly so that it reflects off of a pipe and it hits Jason, and forcing Jason to release the Joker.
Yeah. I mean, dadgum, that's a talented throw.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what throw was harder. The throw he had here in this comic, or the throw he had in the animation. You know, that's some complicated shit either way.
Yeah. Because in the animated movie, Batman threw a batarang that landed directly in like the
center of the opening of the gun barrel. Yeah, you know, what?
It went right in the little hole where the pew pew comes out.
The Green Arrow was impressed with that throw. Yeah.
Yep. And at this point, Joker. This is so the scene that we just described was such a great scene, and it was expertly done in both the graphic novel and of course in the in the animated film. This, however, the ending here is definitely different from the two.
Yeah.
So what happens here in the ending of the trade paperback story is that Joker's like, if anyone's gonna get their wish today, it's gonna be me. And Joker, he puts a gun to like a bunch of C4 that the Red Hood had, and he explodes it.
Yeah.
And the last thing we see is just like a pile of debris and rubble where the building was that the three people were in: Joker, Red Hood, and Batman. And yeah. I mean,
it's a heavy ending.
Yeah. And that's technically where the story itself ends. I mean, but what we get next is also really cool. We can talk about that real quick also.
Yeah.
So what we get next is really about how Jason came back, because a lot of people were really wondering how the hell did Jason really come back. You know, in the animated film, they really narrow it down and they strip it a lot. In the animated movie, they basically say the way that Jason came back was that when he was buried, Ra's al Ghul felt guilty for Jason dying, because essentially in the movie they were saying that when Joker had kidnapped Jason and beat him to death, and in that that tragic scene, that Ra's al Ghul had hired the Joker to do something to distract Batman, while Ra's al Ghul did something else on his own.
Right.
That's what the story was denoting in the animated movie. And so because of that, in the animated film, Ra's al Ghul felt guilty for the death of Jason, so he took the body, put him in the Lazarus pit. But of course, because he was dead, he came back even more crazed, which is why he has this twisted sense of morality. And the graphic novel is a little bit different. Jason was dead and buried and gone.
Yeah.
Until the events happened on, what was it? Crisis on Infinite Earths. I forget which Crisis event, but
something. It basically looks like Superman punches something.
It was Superboy Prime.
Okay.
That punched his way through reality. And when Superboy Prime was able to punch his way through reality, he altered events and things. So essentially, things that weren't supposed to happen happened, and vice versa. And so that shifted things a lot. And that shift brought Jason Todd back to life, and Jason was really just a shell of the kid that he was.
Yeah, like literally the panel shows a decomposed body. The shift happens, like you see the moving of the shift as it the shift as it shifts, as it glides over everything, and then all of a sudden like realizing, I'm in a coffin.
Yeah.
I'm in a tight space.
And so he's in a coffin, and he uses that clever mind and ingenuity that surely he learned from Batman to dig his way out carefully, using like the head of his belt. And once he does that, he's eventually he's taken to like a hospital where like the doctors and the police this kid had like a fractured skull. He had all these, he was beaten, he was in an explosion.
Yeah.
And they were like, we don't know how the hell he survived this. Eventually he winds up just making it really quick here. He winds up on the streets, living amongst like a bunch of hobos. He's about to get attacked by this one dickhead hobo, and that triggers like muscle memory in Jason, and so he kicks the guy's ass literally without even thinking about it.
Yeah. And
another guy sleeping on the street, another bum, who was an ex-criminal who was once beaten up by young Jason Todd as Robin. He realizes that, oh shit, I know those moves. I got my ass kicked by those moves. That's Robin.
He did that to me.
Yeah. And so this bum makes some phone calls around, and essentially the news spreads up to Talia al Ghul, who goes and gets she sends means to get Jason, like this brain dead zombified Jason who really isn't responding. Like his motor functions are working, but not much else.
Yeah.
And so she goes and retrieves Jason, and he gets a little bit better over time, but not by much. Ra's al Ghul does not feel comfortable keeping Jason there because he does not want a war with Batman. Ra's even says that, he essentially says, look, I don't like having this kid here because if the detective finds out that he's here and alive, then we will have a war on our hands. We do not need this.
Yeah.
So Ra's al Ghul, being the man that he is, he's getting older and decrepit. He goes down to the Lazarus pit and he bathes in the pit. Talia,
Talia has another plan on her hands.
Yeah.
Doesn't give a shit about old man Padre and what he wants. She brings our good friend Jason down to the pit, pushes him in literally, and memories are rejogged. Jason's revitalized, and Padre is pissed.
Yep. She provides means for Jason to escape. She gives him money and all the necessary things, I guess, to restart life.
She loves pushing him.
She does, yeah. She pushes him off a cliff, and fortunately he lives. They'd be kind of a bummer if that killed him.
I know, right?
And then
he had a lot of confidence in him.
Yeah. And then it's when he's kind of trying to start his new life that he realizes that the Joker is still very much alive. As he reads the headline saying that Joker is placed back in Arkham by Batman. And that kind of sets him off.
Yeah, he's alive.
Right. Realizing that Joker is alive and that not only is he alive, but Batman put him back in jail instead of putting him in the grave. And it's at this point also where some time passes and he's making preparations and he contacts a man by the name of Tommy Elliott, who some of you may know by the name of Hush.
Indeed.
And it's kind of there where they leave us. And then also I do have the deluxe edition. I have the deluxe edition of pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I like deluxe editions.
How many Hushes do you have now? 2?
I do have 2 versions
that's
of Hush.
That's about right.
The unwrapped edition, which is just admiration of the art, and then the deluxe edition.
The deluxe squared.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, and also at the very end of the deluxe edition of the Under the Red Hood trade paperback, is they show us the encounter that Batman had with Jason Todd and Hush.
Right.
Yeah. So for those of you who have read Hush, you know that there's a part in that graphic novel where Batman, he confronts Hush at the unmarked grave where Jason is buried, and Batman's like, I don't know what game is being played here.
Yeah.
And then Hush takes off his hat and he unravels like the mummy wrappings, and it's revealed to be Jason Todd. And it's there that the two, they do battle, and Batman can't believe what's happening, and they're fighting each other. What's really interesting here is that Batman even says it. Batman says, I never call him Jason. He never calls me Bruce.
Right.
This leads me to believe that it's not Jason Todd.
Yeah.
But it actually was Jason Todd. There was a break in the fight where Jason actually left and Clayface took his spot.
Right.
So
flawlessly.
Flawlessly.
Surprisingly.
So, if you just read Hush and never read Under the Red Hood, you wouldn't be wrong in assuming that that no, it wasn't Jason Todd, it was just Clayface the whole time. But after reading Under the Red Hood, it is revealed that no, Jason Todd was there in Hush, and then just swapped places with Clayface.
Right. Which, good job for getting away. You didn't fool Batman, but you got away successfully in this. So that itself deserves kudos.
No, I think he fooled Batman there, and Batman, at the end, especially when Clayface revealed himself. Yeah. It was like Batman was like, oh no, it's just Clayface.
Right. I mean, he definitely called it beforehand, which was great because mid-fight you can hear him talking out loud about it. Like, okay, look, that wasn't my name to Jason, and that's not what I called him. So I know you're not him. You are not the Robin who died. And then all of a sudden, Clay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like that, with that noise effects and everything.
Oh man. So I guess before we close, Kevin, let me ask you a couple of questions here.
Hit me.
Get your thoughts on some things. So what do you think about the ideology of Red Hood? Do you think that is
like I said, man, I mean, there's certain moments you can get behind it, and there's certain moments where it's like, no. I mean, sure, there are a few out there who are going to full-heartedly gas pedal slam to the floor, agree, and say, yeah, no, the scum, that they had their chance, they made their choices, screw them all, But I mean, there's no room there, you know? There's no... That never works, you know? I mean, it might make you comfortable, and in fact, it might make a spiteful side of humanity satisfied even, you know? It might quench a thirst there, but it's not going to fix the problem. It never fixes the problem, you know? There's no room for change there, really, you know? I mean, it's like there's an awesome little part that we didn't have time to go into in great detail in the middle of the story that really summarizes it all. Batman, it's believed that his greatest tool is fear against criminals. And Alfred is summarizing this in his thought bubbles and his little, you know, fancy gothic format squares where they write out Alfred's thoughts as he monologues the fights. But he talks about how an encounter with Jason led him to believe for a while that Jason had a much worse tool. The fact that he wouldn't allow them to feel fear, that he would stop them, that he would kill them beforehand, that his inability to care whether they live or die was the greatest tool. But then came a further realization, an even greater epiphany that no, Batman had the greatest tool of all, which was not the power to instill fear in criminals, which he does well. It was really the power of his morality. It was his resolve. That is it. That is the good thing there, you know. That's what's going to cause and give room for humanity, for change, for growth. And that is the theme that we should be clinging on to. Not the idea that we have the power to choose who does and doesn't get to, you know, live. Oh, you made a mistake, boom. Oh, you sold drugs to kids in a high school, boom, you know. That's not on Red Hood's shoulders. That's not on any of our shoulders, of course. Not to get too philosophical, which I guess I need to, you know, put the car in reverse for that one. I've already began that little spiel. But, I mean, trust me, no one likes Frank Castle and the Punisher more than daggum Kevin Keister, okay? I love me some Frank Castle action, especially his violence in the books. But as awesome as all that might appear in color and in, you know, movies and TV, it doesn't hold true to what we as a people and we as a humanity really are. That's my 2 cents. Or that's probably more like 3 cents at this point. What about you?
So my first thought was when you reckon back to the part where Alfred was recalling the thoughts of Jason back when Jason was still Robin.
Yeah.
And that led to the further thought that that as Alfred was recalling to Jason, you know, how Batman uses fear to instill fear in the hearts of the criminal, how he uses fear as his tool, as his weapon to fight crime. Alfred talks about the part where Jason basically reveals, the criminals are frightened, but they know that they'll never die. They know that he'll never kill them.
Exactly.
And that that part kind of shook Alfred because, you know, Alfred really didn't have a rebuttal for that. Because, you know, he's at this point, Jason's whole thought process here, this is where it all really began. You know, because with Jason, it can be assumed that Jason was going to go down this route regardless. It can also be assumed that the Lazarus Pit made him this way, or it can even be assumed that the Lazarus Pit just quickened the process.
Right, and there's room for truth in all of that, definitely.
But the truth of, or I guess, but the thing of it is with Jason though is that
the thing that matters.
He does have he does make some really good points. How Gotham needs a cleansing. How Gotham needs maybe to be reformatted. But the way to do it though, who knows if that works or not? You know, you mentioned the Punisher earlier, and you know, I've also read a lot of Punisher, especially as of lately.
Oh yeah,
a couple of volumes of the Punisher Max series.
Oh, that is amazing stuff.
You know, and you know, and in the 3 volumes that I've read, the constant theme in the Punisher series, Punisher Max, by the way, you guys should definitely read that if you get the chance. And the constant theme has always been that Punisher, he does all these things where he kills all these people that do bad things, but he never feels any better about it. Punisher is still empty at the end of the day. Hell, even in the Netflix TV show, it wasn't like it ended with him being happy and satisfied and able and ready to move on. It ended with him not knowing what to do with himself. And I think with Jason, yeah, he does have this twisted sense of morality, but I think it also comes down to the fact that that's not his end goal. His end goal was to show Batman that his way is better because of the one example, because of look what Joker did to me, and look what Joker's still doing, and you
almost
haven't
trying
killed
to
him.
sell the morality there, the idea.
Yep. Why do you think Jason chose Red Hood? Why do you think he chose that name and identity?
I think honestly, I think he chose it more for Batman than he did for himself. I mean, it was convenient and easy for him to use it, manipulate it, and make it his own, yes, which he easily did. But I think he chose it knowing that Batman was always going to think back and know that, yes, this has ties to what could have been the Joker's origin, but also to the ties that now has way too powerfully with Jason, with what happened between him and Joker, and never letting him forget. Yes, I forgave you, sure, for the idea that you didn't save me, but I'm not going to let you forget that you didn't save me type thing.
Well, that you didn't kill the Joker.
That too.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, I think subconsciously speaking, if I was to put information into the character, which I know is technically a creative sin, but if I was to put information into the character, I would say that would be a symbolism you could see there. That this is forever a reminder, maybe a good one, maybe at times a bad one, to look, you failed me once, all right? Don't let this happen again. In that sense, being like a good motivational type thing, sure, that can be argued, but also in a, you failed me once, I'm never going to let you forget that. I think it could be seen either way there.
Right.
But that's one thought that comes to mind.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think that, especially at the time of the publication of the story, it wasn't canonical, and depending on who you ask, it's still not canonical that the Joker Red Hood theory is still true and all that.
Exactly. That's why I said the could be origin.
But the thing of it is, though, I think that Jason believes that. I think that Jason believes that that the original Red Hood was the Joker, and that unfortunate series of events that led to the birth of the Joker. Yeah. And I think that's really what Jason is trying to get at by using the identity of the Red Hood is I think it's Jason saying that your encounter with the Red Hood led to the birth of the Joker, and your failure to stop the Joker led to the birth of me. And so I always feel like that's where he's going with it. Especially in those last iconic words where he goes, "I forgive you for letting me die, but why is he still alive?" So it's almost just implying that Jason doesn't even care that he died. I think he would have been fine staying dead. It's the fact that he feels like Batman doesn't love Jason as much as Jason loved Batman. Because from Jason's viewpoint, he's basically saying, if you love me the way that I loved you, then you would have killed him. He even says, he goes, I would have killed him for you. I would have killed anybody that took me away from you. But you didn't do that. And so from Jason's viewpoint, I think he's just thinking that, you don't care about me the way that I care about you.
I can see that, yeah. A third option for you, real quick. I think also it is plausible that our boy Jason is trying to teach Batman a fear of Red Hoods. Because anytime you see a character in a red hood, I think Batman needs to have the, oh shit, who's going to change my life now face? Who's under this one?
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this review cast of Under the Red Hood.
Maybe one of you decided to read along with us.
Yeah, guys. But this has been a really fun review. I always love reviewing a lot of these fun stories, especially ones that are deep like this. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. I know that we promised you guys that we give the top 10 moments.
Yes. Good time to air that out.
Yep. So this Sunday was supposed to be part 2 of the top 20 superhero comic book movie moments of all time. We did part 1 a couple days ago, and we're supposed to do part 2 this Sunday. However, as we were going through our schedule, both Kevin and I were swiftly reminded that Deadpool 2 is actually next week.
Thanks to the friend who highlighted that for us.
Yeah,
indeed.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we got our tickets like as soon as they came on sale. So that's not the problem. But the issue though is that we always do a preview cast, and we follow it up with a review cast. So this Sunday will actually be our Deadpool 2 preview, and then next Thursday will be our Deadpool 2 review, and then the following Sunday would be part 2 of the top 20 superhero movie moments.
Let the anticipation commence.
Yes. Yeah, guys. So we do apologize for that.
Part 2 will come soon.
Part 2 will come soon. I hate spacing it out that way, just because it gives more time.
Yeah, we did not plan it like that at all. Promises.
Yeah, just because it gives more times, for everybody to forget. And so that was not intentional, but we do apologize for that, guys. But we'll get it out to you guys definitely as soon as that time gets here.
Definitely.
Yep. But we will go ahead and wrap up for tonight, guys. So I also appreciate you guys listening. You guys really do help us keep afloat and all that. As always, guys, let us know if you have any kind of suggestions or anything like that. If you have, $1 or $3 to spare, be sure to check out our Patreon page as well, though. We have a lot of really good material there, and we always have more material coming as well. Really cool material as well. We've already done God of War, A Quiet Place, The Big Lebowski. We'll be doing the new Han Solo movie, the new Jurassic World movie, the new Incredibles movie.
We did go ahead and buy that Han Solo ticket too.
Yep.
So those went on sale. Just FYI to that dedicated fan out there.
That we did. We'll be covering more new video games. The next one we do will probably be Detroit Become Human.
Oh yeah.
We'll be doing more TV shows. We'll be doing Westworld soon, Rick and Morty soon. And also tons of cult classics as well. So the Patreon page is a really cool place where you can check us out in a non-superhero formatted concept.
And just other great nerdy world stuff that we all love.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
But guys, so we appreciate you guys listening once again. We're going to head and close it for tonight. Be sure to leave us a review on iTunes and Facebook page if you haven't already done so. And so we will see you guys Sunday with the Deadpool 2 preview.
You know it.
As always, I'm Quentin.
I'm Kevin.